long time ago, I gave a little video about how turbochargers work, as far as I know. Turbochargers increase the amount of pressure in an engine. And the only reason I know anything about turbochargers is because when I was in high school, the guys would sit there and talk about cars. And I wanted to talk about cars with them because I wanted guy camaraderie, and that's all they ever talked about. So I decided I was going to learn how to talk about cars, even though I didn't know anything about it. So I sat down, I learned how carburetors work in theory, and I learned how exhausts work in theory, and I learned how turbochargers work. And I've heard this story back in high school. I graduated high school in '88, so it's been quite a few years, but the theory is all still the same. Someone asked not too long ago, can you add a turbocharger to an engine after it's built? Can you just add it to, like, say, a Corolla? Well, in theory, yes. But the problem is, the way a turbocharger works is it increases the amount of pressure going into the engine. You're not really burning gasoline when you run your car, you're burning oxygen. And you're using gasoline to light the oxygen on fire and get the energy out of it that's stored in the oxygen out. Using chemical fusion, you'll believe it or not. What a turbocharger does, if you have a 14-pound turbocharger, which are not unheard of, that's a little high for turbochargers. A normal turbocharger might be 9 pounds, but let's go with 14. 14 pounds of pressure is basically 1 atmosphere. So if you're at 1 atmosphere of pressure and you increase to 2 atmospheres, you're taking the amount of pressure in the engine and doubling it, going into the engine. Now, when you double the amount of pressure that's going into the engine, you're multiplying the number of molecules going into the engine by 4. So let's take a normal aspirated engine, carburetor or fuel injector, and you put 1 atmosphere of engine in, 1 atmosphere of fuel in it, and 1 atmosphere of pressure in that engine, and you explode it in the cylinder when you squish it all up. Now let's not count the fact that the cylinder is increasing it. Let's say you're putting 1 atmosphere in at full throw. So when it's wide open, you're shoving 1 atmosphere of pressure in there, then you cram it and it explodes. Let's call that 1 unit of explosion. You do it with a turbocharger, let's say 14-pound turbocharger, 2 atmospheres of pressure, you are actually putting 4 times as much explosive force on the piston. So can you retroactively fit a turbocharger onto an engine? Yes. Be careful, because if you put enough pressure in that engine, you're going to blow out the piston rings, you're going to blow out the head gaskets, you're going to do all kinds of damage to the exhaust. You could. Now, I know for a fact that some old Chevrolet diesel Suburbans that did not have turbochargers, I remember seeing some TV shows about putting turbos on those. And what they were doing is they were taking it from 20 seconds, 0 to 60 time, 20 seconds normally aspirated, down to about 12. So they weren't using a lot of boost, but it worked. So the answer is yes. Don't do it unless your engine's ready for it, because you'll blow it up. Yes, you can put a turbocharger on a vehicle after the fact, but be careful or you can blow it up. That's the main thing to take away from it.